Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome to the new video in my channel, my YouTube channel. Okay, so in today's video we'll be doing part 2 of market structure. Right, so this one it will be a bit advanced. Right, so we did part 1 probably I think a month ago. You can just go and check on the channel the first video. So this one it will be part 2 of that video. Right, so that one, it was very packed. Right, it was even a bit longer, very educational. Right, so this one we're taking it from there is a bit advanced. Right, so in this video what we'll be covering is internal structure and external structure. Right, so we'll be doing a bit of multi-time frame analysis. So the external structure is on the higher time frame, then internal structure is on the lower time frame. Right, then at the end we'll introduce another time frame, which is an entry time frame. Right, so I personally recommend you use 3 time frames, not more than 3. You can use 2, of course. Most of the time I use 2. It's now and then that I will introduce the third one. Okay, so one of the things that you'll be gaining in this video is clarity. Right, you'll gain a lot of clarity, right, on the market. You will just know where the price is. Right, it's very important to know what the price is and what to expect wherever the price is. Are you expecting a pullback? Are you expecting a continuation? Are you expecting the price to switch bearish, switch bullish, and all that? So you just know what to look for every time on the price. Right, so that's some of the things that we'll be covering. Of course, clarity. You'll just personally, this was really a game changer. Right, it was a game changer. Right, so you just have so much clarity and you trade with very much calmness. So what we'll be doing is we'll just be going through some theory, right? Then we'll hop into the chart very quickly. Right, so let's get straight into it. Right, okay, so some of the things here I'll not really be explaining them in details because I've already explained them on the first video. Things like break of structure, what do we expect after the break of structure and all that. So if you haven't watched that one, I'll recommend that you go through it. Right, of course you can go through the other 2 videos that I did on entries. Probably can go through them after this one. Right, after this one I'll really recommend that you go through them. Of course, if you're new into this channel, please just leave your comment below. All right, so what happens is with YouTube, if you like, the more you comment, the more you subscribe and all that, the video will get into more people. So at the end of the video I'll announce something. So I'll be running a quiz, should I say quiz, right? But I'll answer something. Then also I'll be giving a free PDF, right? So just stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand about the price, right? The first thing to understand is, which is that's just general, right? Then there's no price that goes up in this form. There's none. Right, so you need to understand that, okay, what am I looking at? Am I looking at internal structure or external structure? You need to understand that. All right, so that one should be well defined. Okay, so looking at this here, what do we have? We have this. All right, so push again, pull back, a push. All right, so that is what? That is external structure. All right, so this is this one on a higher time frame. Right, so we have a break of structure, the price is coming all the way downside. Right, we have another break of structure here. So we mentioned on the first video that after the break of structure we expect to have a pullback. Right, so after the break of structure, this is a pullback. Then the pullback, you have to look at the internal structure, the lower time frame. So Okay, anyway, you have to look at the lower time frame for the price to give you a signal that we're now about to pull back, then we push again, right? But you may be aware of this but still not be able to get entries if you don't understand internal structure, right? So this is internal structure here, right? So this is internal structure here, you see. So this is just, remember that the higher time frame is what is bullish. All right, the higher time frame is bullish, overall is bullish. This is just, so it's coming from this side, so this is just a pullback, then you push again, this is a pullback, right? But during this pullback, internal structure is having a trend, so this is a trend internally, so the trend is what is bearish, right? As much as the overall trend is bullish, but here the trend is bearish, like internally on this, in this portion here. Then from there, internal structure is switch bullish, right? So now both internal structure and external structure, they are what? They are bullish, right? Now take note of this, take note of this. Both they are what? They are bullish. Now this way you are recommended to take entries, right? So this is what the price does. So you are recommended to take entries here because this point, this way internal structure and external structure, they are both in line. Here internal structure is about to switch bearish while external structure is still bullish, right? But in this point here, so this way I recommend to take entries, right? So for now we're still looking at the bullish movement, we'll also look at the bearish one, right? So finally it's again, okay, switch bullish, so this way I recommend you to take your entries, right? So we want change of character. Okay, so explain that in the first video, right? So not be explaining chain of character, just be talking about it. So the chain of character, right, internally, because you can't trade external structure, right? Okay, so external structure, it can be any time frame. I'll explain which time frame do I use. Personally, I use high time frame is 4 hour, right? Then lower time frame is 15 minutes and 15, right? So you can use 4 hours, 1 hour, you can use 1 hour, 15 minutes, but you make sure that there is much gap, not too much gap in between them, but there's much gap, right? So you can't use 1 hour and 2 hours. No, can't say this high time frame 1 hour, then lower time frame 30 minutes, you can't, right? Because they're just going to show the same thing. Now 4 hours and 15 minutes, they show overall, of course, it's the same thing, but you'll see that 15 minutes is doing this while 4 hours is just straight, right? So now for 15 minutes is switch bullish, we go. Then with broken structure, after the broken structure, what do you expect? We expect a pullback. After the broken structure, we expect what? A pullback. How do we know that the pullback is about to take place? Internal structure will switch bearish, right? So you have step-by-step process. That's what I always tell my students, that you have a step-by-step process. You're not just trading haphazardly. You know that, okay, this is what I expect after this, this is what I expect after this. So what is this here? The lower time frame is switch bearish. They say that is internal structure, it is switch bearish, because you know that after the break of structure, right? So the higher time frame external structure is switch, has broken structure, right? So now this one, after the break of structure, we expect a pullback. How do we know that the pullback is about to take place? We see a lower time frame switch bearish, right? Then it comes again. So here we're just looking at market structure, not looking at other things, liquidity, supply and demand and all that, right? So the change of character there, pullback. So your entry was probably somewhere here, right, in this area. That will probably be 15 minutes point of interest, right? Then we come downside. We are aware that the overall trend is what is bullish. So at some point be above this point, right? The internal structure will switch bullish again to align with the external structure, right? You got that right. So this is where now they are both bullish. So that's where you want to take your entries. Of course, you can take entries on these, but these are just pullbacks. So the price can pull back until here and continue. Can pull back until here and continue. Can pull back until here and continue. As long as it's above this point, is above this here, the trend is still what? Is still bullish. Right. So let me not waste much time. Let's go to this was what? This was a bullish one. Let's go to a bearish one. It's kind of the same thing again. Right. So the price is what? Is bearish. So now where do you want to take your entries? You want to take your entries. Okay, of course, I've said that you can take entries at pullbacks, but you want to take entries where external structure and internal structure, they are what? They are both in line. Where are those points here? It's here. Because firstly, we are aware that the higher time frame external structure is bearish. So at the moment the internal structure switch bearish, that's why we are really looking for entries. Right, so the internal structure, it was pullbacking all the way until here. Then it finally switch bearish. Right, so the moment you switch bearish, what happens? This way you're now looking for entries. You're taking all the way until probably it will break structure. Of course, that's why you talk about trade management and all that. You can't just take the trade and just go away. You have to manage it. Right. So after the break of structure, what do you expect? A pullback. How do we know that the pullback is about to take place? The internal structure will switch bullish in this case. Right, so you can take this pullback, but you're aware that the price may just come here and continue. Right, so because here we're only looking at market structure, we're not looking at other things. If you're only looking at market structure, of course, yeah, it might be a bit challenging to take this because you're not really sure where you're taking it. But the moment you include other factors, other confluences, things like supply and demand and all that, then you may kind of have a clue that, okay, I'm taking it from here probably until here. Maybe there's an error here, but you're aware that the price will still drop. But of course, if you don't want to take a pullback, it's fine. You can just wait for the price here. That's what most of the time I do. Yes, I take the pullbacks, especially if I think that the pullbacks is going to go for long, right? But if probably I'm aware that the pullback, it won't be that much, let me just wait for the price here. So you don't complicate your trading, right? So finally it switch bullish, bearish, right? After that it pullbacks, you have your error here, take your entry all the way downside, right? So you are mostly, but you see when like when you're going through the chart, because when you're going through the chart, we'll mostly deal with internal structure. So that's why you get busy on internal structure, right? So that's why you get busy. You monitor, do that, all that, right? Okay, so we've looked at two directions, which is bullish and bearish. Now we are looking at the change of character on external structure, right? External structure. So external structure in this case, right? So this order flow, right? So the price is what is bullish, right? So it's bullish. So that's why I'm mostly looking to take entries. Why? Because that's where internal structure and external structure, they are what? They are both bullish. Remember these things, right? Remember these things. These pullbacks, of course, can take them. But of course, they are a bit careful with them. A bit careful. Now, let me show you. Let me explain why is after some time. Of course, it is advisable that you take those pullbacks. For you to say the price has overall changed direction, is when you look at the external structure. It is switch. It is broken structure. I mean, change character. right? So now you're aware that okay, external structure is what is bearish, so the high time frame is bearish, right? Now you can start looking for sales. But if you are really skilled with using internal structure, this means you got an entry there, right? So you didn't need to wait for the price to change here to say, okay, now let me start selling. So you got your entry there. So that's what internal structure does. You're able to get early entries. Early entries are very important, because when you get late entries, the price can pull back to your entry, right? So again, what do we have here? The price, you see, then you see, so this one is easy. It's very much easy to see and to turn, right? But now looking at internal structure, they say you get busy. But this way, you're looking for entry, stop loss, and all that. Managing your trades is internal structure. Imagine is aware of external structure of what is happening, because very it doesn't even take much time, right? But most work you do it internally. So if it's not well defined what is your internal structure and what is your external structure, already you'll just be doing anything without any clear direction, right? So it has to be well defined that this is where you're looking for, right? So you know exactly what you are looking for. Okay, so this one, I think it just explains itself, right? So it's the same thing after the chain of characters, the same thing. We switch again. So the block of structure, we pull back. After the block of structure, break that, I will pull back. So you go to your internal structure. Internal structure, lower time frame, and be looking for your pullbacks signals to say, okay, now we are switching bearish or bullish, right? Okay, so here is probably one important part, right? Okay, so this one is the combination of all time frames, right? So it's the high time frame, right? So high time frame, the block one, lower time frame, this one, then entry time frame, right? So entry time frame is not really compulsory. Most of the time I just use 2 time frames, but now and then I can just to get a, also it depends on how big the screen is, just to get a clear view, or a clear view. So times I'll use 5 minutes, right? Some they go as far as 1 minute. There's nothing wrong as long as your screen is a bit big to accommodate you to see something. But I'll show you now on the chart, right? I'll show you now. Okay, so our that the overall trend is what is bullish, right? So in these areas, the internal structure is what is switch bullish, bearish. So in these areas, this way you have this here. All right, so all these areas we have this here, right? So this is a lower time frame. So every time the price is about to pull back, you see, you can't get an entry here on a lower time frame because you didn't see anything. The price just turned. Have you ever seen you just have one big candle? Look at this thing. Like you just have one big candle. Okay. Let me just try to make it a bit fancy. Okay, so you have one big candle, right? So let's say this one is, okay, let's even change, no, not changing anything. Right, so then we have this one coming downside. All right, so this one was going up, this one coming downside. This is a daily time frame, right? So probably the price was doing this, right? So the price was doing this here, then the next thing the price is dropping. You see, you didn't have anything here, but the moment you zoom in, you have something of this kind. That's why you can take your entries. Right, it's the same here. The price just did this, then it just turned. So that's why you have to know and have your internal structure and external structure well defined, that this is exactly what I'm doing. This is where you don't use all time frames, because when you use all time frames, you just have what you want, right? So finally the price, you see now in lower time frame, you see it's not just moving straight. This straight line here, this is how the price is doing it, right? So you see this here now. Then after the chain of character, what do you expect? Expect a pullback. So lower time frame has to what? Switch bullish, right? So switch bullish here, goes up. Then probably we have arrived on our point of interest, right? Now, this probably it of course will depend on your time frames, all right? So you can just enter the moment the price taps here. It depends on how big this point of interest is. At times you have to wait for the reaction of the price, so that's why you have to go to your entry time frame, right? Because sometimes the price, yeah, it may seem like it's not reacting, but the moment you go to lower time frame, and also what it helps with is you are able to have low risk. It's very important to have low risk, no matter how perfect your strategy is. If your risks are small, just forget it, right? So you have low risk there, right? Okay, so this is it. So okay, so probably we're taking it until somewhere here, right? So I take it until somewhere here. Of course, there are a lot of things that you have to look at when we are setting our take profit, right? But this is just the it of trading, right? So these time frames here, all right? You see how choppy this one is. You may even be getting entries here, but when you go this one, the thing will just be straight. So you may just be getting nice entries there. You monitor trade and all that. Right, so now let's hop straight into the chart. Right, so we'll just be going through this. Let's see where we're going to start. Okay, so just before probably go through this here, so this is but I'll leave all the the links below, the link to my Telegram, Instagram, like all the communication platforms. Then this is the temporal website. Okay, so this is the course that I provide, right? So this is a course curriculum, right? So if you are, whether we are very new or you've been around, this is still it, right? It works for everyone. Okay, so it's first market structure, right? So these are all like sessions, videos, all of these here. So we kind of cover it. Like here, we first do a bit of theory, then we go to the chart theory, because theory is very important. Sometimes remember that we are dealing with candlesticks, right? So candlesticks sometimes at first you have to first just use a bit of a line graph. That is more like what we are doing on theory, right? Then we come to supply and demand, very important, liquidity. Okay, so this, I think I've added probably, yeah, some other 2 sessions, because what I really do now is just be adding practice sessions, right? So you can keep on repeating the same thing all over again, right? Then this is now the combination of everything. There's more like a road map, right? So this is more of psychology, right? Okay, of course, entries here, right? So we cover all these step by step, right? Because I think I've mentioned, especially in the first video, that you need to understand each aspect of the price of the market. Most people, they just do everything at once, right? So you need to build on your trading. You know that, okay, first market structure, you build on it, then when it's perfect, you add something else again. So you understand every aspect of your trading. You don't just do lazy work, right? So okay, so these are the packages, right, from plan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if you are interested, get in touch. Okay, so let's just go straight into it. Okay, so I'll just start quickly with external structure. As I've said, that I'll not be explaining most of the things that I've already explained on the first video. Okay, so let's just do a quick one because I want us to spend time on internal structure. Right, so what do we have there? Break of structure. The break of structure, what do you expect? A pullback. Right, break of structure again. So the break of structure, what do you expect? A pullback. Right, so this here, right, break of structure, pullback, break of structure, pullback. Right, so if you remember, of course you remember, we just look at it now. Right, so internal, like this is what we'll have to just be this straight, right? So it's just straight. Now this way you have to look on internal structure. Then internal structure will be having something. That's what we'll be looking at now, right? Right, is after that your trading should be well defined. Like it should be well defined. You should have a clear process of this is what I'm doing. Okay, let's continue. This is what chain of character. I've already explained chain of character, right? Okay, let me just probably explain it a bit. Now this is what the highest high, which low created this high, is this one here. Then when this low is it's taken out, what's that? There's a chain of character, right? So when the price is somewhere probably here, we are aware of two things of our swing low and swing high. This is our swing high, this is our swing low. When the price goes up here, there's a break of structure. If it takes out this, there's a chain of character. But as I've said that it's explained in detail on the first video, right? Because I can't cover everything at once. After the chain of character, I to expect a pullback, right? So this is the low, right? So another pullback. This is right. So these are all break of structure. Right. So let's just label that quickly. I've said that we're not spending time on this. So if you probably need some clarity more, I would really recommend the first video. Right. Okay, so this is where we are currently. Now let's head into our lower time frame. We'll be looking at internal structure, 15 minutes. Right. Okay, so I'll try by all means be a bit quick because of time. Okay, so now what do we start? You see now when you zoom this, right, it kind of give you the external structure. You see, so this is what we're seeing. Just seeing these moves here. This is external structure. Right, so external structure is this, but internal structure, if you look at it, right, so it's what we're explaining in the first video. Right, so we have all these here. You see, so it's the same thing that we're explaining. You see, so now, but of course this one was more of a line chart. Here now we'll be looking at we'll be looking at the okay, so sorry about that. My battery just seems like it's about to switch off. Right. Okay, so now we'll be looking at the candlesticks, right? So we'll be right. Okay, so my battery was about to die there. Now let's look at internal structure. Right, so the same principle still applies. Right, so it's still the same principle that still applies. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's see. So I said most of the time you want to take entries where internal structure and external structure are in line, and we're aware that here internal structure, external structure is what is bullish. So that's where you want to take these entries. Right, now let's look at it. What do we have here? Well, let's just start probably somewhere here with this. I recommend this when you're still a beginner, right? So that it clarifies things for you. Right, so when you want to understand, okay, what is the price doing? Okay, so now we're not changing anything, we're just fixing this to just align a bit. Right, now see the same thing. What do we have here? Right, we have a block of structure. Right, let's see. I don't think it will show in 1 minute. Okay, let's use this one. Right, so I have a block of structure there. Right, I have another block of structure here. Right, then we have another block of structure here. You see now it's like now you are zeroing. It's more like you're zooming into the price. Right, then finally we have what? This low here. Which low created this is this one. So that's the chain of character. The chain of character expect a pullback. So our entry was supposed to be here at the pullback. Right, so that's where the entry was. Right, now can you see that what we're doing, it was really okay. So let me delete this. Should I delete it? Let's just skip it. Right, now let's just put all these the things with block of structure. Right, I may not label everything block of structure. Then we have this push down side, the price is pulling back. This is the low that created this high, the highest, the lowest. Right, okay, so some people, they can even be more yeah, they can say, okay, this was a drop, pull back, a drop, pull back, a drop. All right, so this is a pullback then, so they can say this is a chain of character, but as long as you stick to the same rules. But personally, for now, right, let's just skip it there. Then the price pulls back. So where was your entry? Remember that after the change of character, the change of character, right? So expect what? Expect a pullback. Right, so price change character. Now entry here. Then we can go to, because our that the price is what is bullish. So yeah, this one was one last entry. Whew. Yes, that's 1:19. That's a ratio. 1:19. Right. As much as you are aware that the price is bullish, so there are high chances that the price is going to break this point here. But yeah, this year it paid you already, so you don't want to yeah, you don't want to be asking too much from the price. Okay, so we said after the break of structure, what do you expect? A pullback. How do you know that the pullback is about to take place? Internal structure will switch bearish in this case. Right, again, you can underline what we have. Just start here. We have that high, Okay, let's have this one also. Right. Okay, just take it. Okay, let's do this. Right. Okay, so I'll not be doing this always. Now the first thing is you have that high there. Which low created this high is this one. So that is the chain of character. The moment this low that created the highest high is taken out as a chain of character, right? Then after chain of character, you expect a pullback. So your entry was supposed to be there, right? Let's see. So this is the low. Let's just use this low here, right? So this was the change of character. Let's label this a bit. It's a break of structure. This is a break of structure. Yeah, this was one nice entry also. Right, this was one nice entry. There are other conferences that they're not really part of this video. Right. So after that, this is a pullback. Then your entry. No, what is this now? Right. So you have your entry there. Okay, so we have, let's say, an area. Just press it here. Then you can enter the middle. You put your stop just above this point. Right. But remember that, as I've said, that this is just what a pullback. So yeah, whether the overall trend is what still bullish. But as I've said, after the break of structure, expect a pullback. So this is just a pullback. The pullback is going to be, you confirm it by having a change of character in the internal structure. Right. So yeah, this one, if you see, it didn't go that far, but this is a lot on its own. Right, so this is a lot. So I'm looking at the areas where, like, okay, I think this was one of the area. This was one of the area where we see, okay, the price may bounce and continue. Right, but that one is not part of this video. Okay, so finally the price is switch bullish again. So that's where you're looking for entries. Right, see the same thing. Then the price finally internal structure is switch bullish, continue to be bullish. Break of structure internally. You see now that most work is what is done on internal structure. Right. Break of structure. After the break of structure, we expect what? A pullback. Right. Remember those principles. So the moment the price is there after the break of structure, expect a pullback, but aware that the pullback, it may not, of course it may, but it may not come all the way here. It may just, right, but also aware that the price can still come this side and change character and go downside. We're just looking at the direction of the price. We don't do anything until the price tells us. Right, so as much as you can have your bias, but you're not fixed to them, to your bias. Right, okay, so let me just do the last one here. This is the highest point. Now let's have a look at this. First thing first, you have that high point there on top, this one. Right, then which low created that high is this one. Let's see now. This was your chain of character, so that was your entry there, coming all the way downside. Right, so you're going to have a nice supply there. Then you have your chain of character. This is the low that created that high. It was taken out. Right, then you have this entry here. You have your stop just above. Probably I'll just keep it at the middle, just above, not too far, right? But when you're taking this way, probably saying, okay, the price is still what? Still bullish, right? So the price is still bullish. Okay, there's something that is not here. This here is a change of character. Yes, right. So you're aware that the price is what? Is still bullish. So the price may not come. So as much as I'm taking this, I think, okay, probably the price may still go to this and break structure again. But as I've said, that you don't get fixed your bias. All right, so you don't get fixed your bias. But anyway, let me explain everything. Okay, so this here, the price never showed any signs of wanting to go up. Right, so it never showed any signs. So this actually could have taken it all the way downside. Right, all the way downside. Okay, I think that is it. It's still the same thing. I remember I took this trade, so it was a very nice trade with the multi-chip group, right? So it's still the same thing. After the break of structure, expect a pullback, right? Break of structure, expect a pullback. Now let's say you open the price, and this where the price is. Firstly, this is my swing high. This is my swing low. Right, so the price is still bearish according to this. Of course, you can have your supply and demand, your supply error there. So if the price takes us this here, this will be what? The break of structure. If the price goes up and take this point here, that will be the change of character. Right, so it's very important to know this. Right, then of course, if you have your point of interest there, the price comes and react to the same thing as we're doing. Take an entry, comes break structure, it continues. Right, okay, so we've come to the end of our video. I'll not be doing all this internally. Right, okay, so as I've said that if you, but I'll leave a under the description and also the pinned comment. If you want a free PDF, you can just leave a comment, subscribe. If you're new into the channel, you can subscribe so that the channel can reach as many people. Also, I'll be doing some giveaways probably. The more the channel it hits 5,000, 10,000, I'll just be giving some giveaways on the plan. Like as I said, that I have plan 1, 2, 3 until 5 on the courses I provide. Right. So if you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe, give this video a thumbs up so that it can reach a lot of people. If you have any comment, whatever that you have learned, if you have any question, you can just leave on the comment down below. I will really appreciate it. Okay, so let's move on the next video. I'll be releasing videos probably every Thursday, either between Thursday and Wednesday. Let me just keep it a bit flexible. Between Thursday and Friday, I'll be releasing very educational videos, right? But they will not be this long. This one was the last one that was long. So also if you want to join the Telegram group, all the links will be just down below. Thank you for tuning in.